If I was to tell you that a low-budget 1980s horror comedy about a San Francisco truck driver and a restaurant owner joining forces to defeat an immortal Chinese sorcerer before he can murder an innocent girl and free himself from an ancient curse would turn out to be one of my favourite movies of all time, you'd probably respond with, "Drinker, you quintessential connoisseur of quality cinema, how could you pick a movie of such humble origins for such a high accolade? Surely there's far more worthy endeavours out there." Yeah, I'm sure there are, but I don't give a fuck. Favourite movies are a bit like a comfortable old pair of boots, you see. They might not be the highest quality or the best design, but you'd happily walk all day in them because they're just right for you. And such is the case with Big Trouble in Little China, a John Carpenter classic from the heady days of 1986 that manages to seamlessly blend together action, horror, comedy, magic, martial arts, and a perfect cast of actors into a potent cocktail of 1980s awesomeness. And I'm all about potent cocktails, let me tell you. The movie begins with Jack Burton, a tough-talking American truck driver, on his way to Chinatown in San Francisco, where he gets into an all-night card game with his friend Wang Chi. And when Wang loses big time, he promises to pay Jack what he owes just as soon as he's picked up his girlfriend Mao Yin from the airports. Unfortunately, Mao Yin gets kidnapped by a Chinese street gang during a botched ambush, and when Jack and Wang track her kidnappers back to Chinatown, they end up caught in the middle of a full-scale war between rival clans. Jesus, these guys really don't fuck around. It's like the Battle of Stalingrad here. Now this is bad enough, but right in the middle of the fight, these three arseholes show up and fucking lay waste to everything around them. What the hell are they? Why can they shoot bolts of lightning and fly through the air? Anyway, Jack tries to run over their leader with his truck, but apparently that doesn't work on him, so he and Wang are forced to flee the scene and regroup. Damn, we're only like 15 minutes in and so much shit's happened, it feels like a complete movie already. Anyway, the two men are now forced to work together to rescue Mao Yin and recover Jack's truck. And for this, they enlist the help of Egg Shen, a local mystic who explains that the guy Jack tried to run over is Lo Pan, an ancient Chinese sorcerer cursed with immortality until he can marry a girl with green eyes. A girl like Mao Yin. Needless to say, they have to get her back before he goes through with it. And while all this is going on, Kim Cattrall starts poking around as Gracie Law, a wannabe news reporter desperate for a scoop. I love how Jack totally doesn't give a shit about any of this stuff and just wants to get his truck back so he can get out of there. So the movie becomes a kind of action-adventure story as the gang work to infiltrate Lo Pan's hideout, free innocent hostages, battle ancient monsters, demons and warriors, and try not to get themselves killed in the process. And the stakes rise even more when Gracie gets captured during a bungled rescue attempt, leaving Lo Pan with two wives. Naturally, the whole thing culminates in an epic showdown deep beneath the streets of Chinatown, with martial arts battles, gunfights, magic, and of course, the Six Demon Bag.
Oh, the Six Demon Bag!
Terrific, a Six Demon Bag. Sensational. What's in it, Egg?
Big Trouble in Little China is quite simply a fantastic movie that's endlessly rewatchable and great fun from beginning to end, and a lot of it comes down to a combination of deceptively smart screenplay and pitch-perfect direction. John Carpenter isn't a director you typically associate with light-hearted action comedies, but somehow he hit the nail perfectly on the head with this one. Everything's played with tongue firmly in cheek. There's lots of sly winks to the audience and visual gags that actually make you laugh, unlike most so-called comedies today, but it's all played just seriously enough that you can still get invested in what's happening. It reminds me of Ghostbusters, where the audience is in on the joke but the characters aren't, which allows the movie to have fun but also maintain a bit of tension and suspense. Even the visuals are pitched just right. The cheap, unconvincing sets and simple practical creature effects just add to the atmosphere and somehow enhance the movie instead of detracting from it. Big Trouble knows exactly what it is and doesn't have pretensions to be anything more, and that's just fine with me. And of course there's the main man himself, Jack Burton. This guy is an absolute legend with his John Wayne delivery, his awesome tank top, and some of the best one-liners in cinema.
If we're not back by dawn, call the president. Son of a bitch must pay. Hollow?
Hollow.
Fuck it. It's all in the reflexes.
Kurt Russell's got mad charisma even in his worst movies, but he's just having a whale of a time here, tearing up the scenery and not giving one single fuck about it. Damn, I miss characters like this. Which makes it all the more interesting when you realise he's basically the comedy sidekick of this story. The real plot centres around Wang fighting to rescue his girlfriend from the evil sorcerer. Jack's just along from the ride. He's not all that good at fighting, he makes dumb mistakes, and he's slow to catch on to what's happening.
I don't get this at all. I thought Little Panda...
Shut up, Mr. Burton. You are not brought upon this world to get it.
He doesn't even get the girl at the end.
God, aren't you even gonna kiss her goodbye?
No.
That being said, I love how he redeems himself in the finale with something that was set up in the first few minutes of the movie. And they even managed to work in another gag here, like he's so pleased with himself that he actually forgets his buddies fighting for his life.
Wang.
Fuck a duck. How is it that a cheesy, low-budget comedy from 35 years ago has better screenwriting than most blockbuster movies today? God, I hate Hollywood. All the supporting cast are perfect in their roles too. Gracie Law could easily come across as pushy and abrasive, but Kim Cattrall does a great job at making her likeable and endearing, caught up in romantic notions of being a hardcore journalist, but lacking the skill or experience needed to do it. Dennis Dunn gradually transforms from a meek restaurant owner into a kick-ass martial arts expert, risking everything for the woman he loves, and he sells every line like he really means it. And of course, there's Victor Wong as Egg Shen. Who else at this time could possibly play a Chinese mystic who knows more than he's letting on? Honestly, this dude's been in not one, but two of my favourite movies. And just like Tremors, Big Trouble was a total flop at the box office, but gradually became a cult classic on home media, and it's easy to see why. It's a fun, action-packed, perfectly paced film that strikes the perfect balance between drama and comedy and manages to cram in an insane amount of plot and character development into just over an hour and a half. And if somehow you still haven't seen it, then I recommend you put that right at your earliest convenience. Anyway, just remember what old Jack Burton says when the earth quakes and the poison arrows fall from the sky and the pillars of heaven shake. Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye, and he says, "That's all I've got for today. Go away now."